Hiya, yeah, this is Dub Vampire for Bard's Tales, and tonight we have Paul. By the way, good evening, Paul.
Good evening.
Lovely to see you tonight. Lovely to see you. So, where are you from then? What are your roots?
My musical roots.
Physical roots.
My physical roots from the Midlands. I'm Peaky Blinder territory, near Birmingham.
Birmingham.
Yeah, I don't have that accent.
I know you don't.
I used to.
Did you?
I did, yeah. I mask it well.
Oh, right, that's interesting. So, go back to your roots. Let's hear some original speakage.
All right, yeah.
So, how long have you been doing it, by the way?
But probably, professionally about 6 years. But I think probably since I was about 16, 17 in bands. And but I used to play, I've played in lots of different bands on different instruments, hence why what you just asked me, can you play all that shit?
Right, so yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. So, what's your inspiration then? Where's it coming from?
It's a bit weird because a lot of people, because of the electronic side of what I do, I get compared to a lot of people I don't listen to, which is weird. I don't know whether I've been influenced by the same people as like people like Hot Chip and electronic bands along that sort of line.
I can see the Hot Chip thing, because they seem to do it. They seem to build up and knock it down through the tune, which is and they're using similar boxes, so I can see kind of where that comes from.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
me too.
It's just like guitarists, I suppose. Like you got Les Paul guitarist and Telecaster guitar. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
So, but what are the actual songs about?
About my life in lots of different ways. Experiences, anything that I come across. I've got things about relationships, like everybody writes about when you have heartache and falling in love. But I find it easier to write about sad stuff. But
I'm glad you said that. I think so too. And there's not enough of it out there.
Yeah.
Because I think it's easy. I think it's easy to write about how great things are.
Yeah.
And everyone feels that. But sometimes if you speak about things that are not so great, then there's something. It's like the blues in a way.
It is.
If you hear the blues, and it's a sad song, it can uplift you a little bit because basically you don't feel that you're on your own.
It's true.
So it's kind of like that. So really, your lyrics are really from direct experience.
Yeah, they all are, yeah. But I'd say in general life, positive experiences trump negative. But I'd say when it comes to songwriting, it seems to be the other way around for me. So
That's interesting.
I'm quite a positive person. I think it's almost like a bit of therapy for me, that some of the things in life that have got to me in whatever way come out through my music, but not as a person. So I've had that kind of said before, when people don't always link me as a person to the music that I'm playing, but I know it's me in there.
Yeah.
I've come across as a fairly positive person.
I think that's a good thing. There's always a mystery with things, and if it comes from inside you're not necessarily the one to know where it's really coming from, and it's up to the audience to decide how they feel about it.
Yeah, true.
Because musicians have got their music, everybody else has only got themselves. If that makes any sense.
It does.
So what's your favourite song that you've written of your own?
There's one I wrote that's called Stories of Him Are Told Less and Less, and I think songwriting wise that's probably my strongest, but it's quite a hard one. I mean, the discipline of looping can be tricky in the busier the room gets, I find. Like, so if you're in a busy place with lots of people making a lot of noise in the room, you got to hear it so finely to get some of these harmonies out and to sort of if you've got some little intricate bits of percussion you're doing and you're picking up sounds in the room. So I find that the song that I like the most is the one that I play the least when I go out live, because it's got to be dead absolutely perfect silent for it.
Right. I can see that might be a problem, because if you press that button at the wrong second,
exactly.
and it's not just one mistake, it keeps over and over and over again, innit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can see that.
And with it being quite a personal song, if it goes wrong, it upsets me more than some of the others that are maybe not quite as personal.
So I mean, you play a lot of different instruments there. And as we were saying before, it's like a hot chip thing, and like a lot of modern music is built like that. So how do you manage to keep track of all those different things? Is it just the discipline, or is it just something that you just throw it in when you get the urge, and you've practiced the urge, so it kind of works, if you know what I mean? Is that how it works?
Yeah, I think I started like in the early days of recording computer music at university. And I would sit there with bass guitar, electric guitar, piano, little drum kit, and I'd go from one instrument to the next, pressing play maybe, and I think I was kind of looping them, but just a tiny bit slower because of the technology at the time. And I think looping is a discipline that you learn, because I think, if you watch really closely in that,
which is what I was doing.
Which is what if you watch it again when it was. When it gets played back, you might notice a mistake that I made, but I covered it really quickly. So I'm not completely foolproof. So I'm hoping you won't notice it, but if you look really closely, you might, if I tell you what it is. Now, when I played the chords that come in every now and again in the chorus, when I played it first time, I played it a bit too loud the first time, so I quickly had to switch it off, but carried on playing it, and then recorded it on the second pass rather.
Yeah, I did notice that, as a matter of fact. Yeah, because you leaned over to the mixing desk.
I did.
Listen, I don't think you need to worry about that, because that's part of the excitement of performance.
It is, but I think the point I'm trying to make, it is a discipline where you have to learn. Like, you've got all those little pickups and little safety net elements on every instrument, but I think looping's got its own. It's almost like playing an instrument. The idea of looping, I find it's got a discipline the same as an instrument.
Yeah, I notice you play guitar. So you play guitar, you write the song, you play keyboard, you're doing the rhythm, and you're doing the samples, which you're normally doing on a weird kind of Elvis Presley mic.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And the bass is coming out on the keyboard, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm doing that on the keys. Yeah.
Right. So there's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
How are you going to develop that? Well, where are you going to go with that?
I did talk to some people about this, because I suppose if you think about James Blake, who does a similar thing to me. I know when he goes out live, he takes a drummer, so that I think the drummer still plays kind of like Alt J as well. The drummer's using like a mixture of a real percussive kit and some drum hits and samples that they're triggering. So I think you could maybe add a drummer to it, but I think part of what I do maybe wouldn't work so well if you expanded it into a band. I think the idea of it building, but I think the one thing that looping does is asks quite a lot of the people listening to it if you take too long to build it up. So maybe there would be an element of that if it was, but But at one point I used to do all of the percussion myself as well. I didn't use drum machines at all. So I used to take out a cajon, a load of different percussive items. And it took me so long to build everything up because I was making the beats from scratch that I think people lost interest as I was doing it. So a drummer actually said, stop doing the real drums. He gave me the advice, came to a gig and said, put a pulse in there, that TR8, that 808 type backbeat that I've got on everything. And then people won't care, like if you're at a festival or whatever, they'll just be dancing to the backbeat and they won't care that it's sort of built.
Yeah, I think that's probably good advice.
Yeah, I think
that's
so.
probably good advice. I think the appeal for what you're doing is that you are doing it all, you know. And I think if you are going to add something, I think you just want more human stuff. You've got the band there in your boxes, and maybe you get somebody else to do some singing or a sax player or something like that. You know, but it's great on Bard's Tales to talk about the future. So where can people get access to your music?
Through my website, it's all the links are in there. paulbytheway.co.uk.
Right, what we'll do, we'll put all the links on the end of the video, yeah. Right, so what's in the future? You're going to be working with other people. What's next?
The main thing for me, because I'm also in a band, the Retrosettes. It's like a 60s band, and we're off touring around Germany supporting Simply Red over the summer. So I'm doing less of this at the minute, and we're releasing an album in Germany, and so that's my next project. But I'm still going to be doing a few festivals and this in between doing my band. But for this, I guess more festivals, and I quite like the idea of these sort of front room gigs that I keep getting asked to do, where you go and play in somebody's lounge and they have a proper audience. I love that kind of thing.
That'd be great. That'd be great. Yeah, yeah.
In somebody's house. I don't know what it is about that, but I do love doing that.
Well, maybe message him, get him in your front garden. So right, okay, that's Bard's Tales. Calling it a day for today. With By the Way.